So in this video, I wanted to spend some time talking about traveler's notebooks. These are one of those products that some people love and they will say, I'll never be without my traveler's notebook. And other people are just saying kind of like, what the heck? I can't believe you spent $50 on a notebook cover and then filled it with another $50 worth of stuff. For that $100, you could have had, 30 great notebooks. So I just wanted to kind of run through what a traveler's notebook is, and maybe run a little bit into why people love them so much, but mainly to be focused on the basics. So there's a company called Traveler's Company. They're owned by the same company that owns Midori Paper, which we've talked about a few times here on this channel. And they make these leather notebook covers. It looks like this. It's a nice piece of leather, naturally dyed. Comes in blue, black, brown, and like a different brown, like a red brown and then a chocolate brown. And it's very simple. It's just a piece of naturally dyed leather with some elastic bands on the inside. And this little closure piece here that will go around it. That is the cover, sells for about 50 bucks. Comes with some really nice instructions that are printed on beautiful paper. A really nice linen bag that has no use to it once you have it, except for storage, but it is nice that they did it. And then you start to accessorize it. And the accessories are really the key because that's how you customize your traveler's notebook and make it yours. You can see it's by the Traveler's Company. It's called the Traveler's Notebook. And they don't really talk too much about Midori, but you can see it uses MD paper, which is the Midori paper. And then that's about it as far as the sort of details, like official details we're getting to. The one important thing is that they come in two sizes. This long size is kind of like, maybe like a B5, A5, that size is the standard. And then there's something like this right here, which is called the passport size. So, it's bigger than an actual passport, but once you get to the notebook inside, that is pretty similar to a standard passport. This will also get into an interesting detail that this is the official traveler's notebook from the Traveler's Company, as you could see here. This one is, I'm not gonna say a knockoff, but it's a leather cover with a notebook in it. It's very similar to the Traveler's Notebook, but it's from a different company. This is from, I don't even know the name of the company, Asian Vintage, and they call it the Traveler's Notebook. Is it a knockoff? I'm not gonna get into that here, but this is a traveler style notebook, but it's really just a notebook cover and a notebook inside. They probably shouldn't have called it the Traveler's Notebook, but there you have it. That was a gift I got, this one. You can see I purchased, this is the real deal from Traveler's Company. The way it works is pretty simple. You get one of these inserts. You'll probably wanna buy it from the Traveler's Company. Like you'll wanna buy an official one because they make really nice notebooks and they use really nice Midori paper. I really love that paper, but other companies do make products that will fit this notebook size, even though this is a proprietary, like a non-standard notebook size. So you could hunt around, or there's an article on Unsharpened about some paper options. It's very simple. You can buy it in dot grid, whatever. It's called the refill. And what you're gonna do here is you're gonna use these rubber bands on the inside, and then you will find the middle. It's stapled, so it's right in the middle is only one staple, and you're gonna wanna just get this, put it in here, and you could arrange these on the inside however you want. There is some art to this, which we won't get too much into in this basics article, but the point is that there's these rubber bands or elastic bands in here. They will hold the notebook in. So at this point, we have a functional traveler's notebook, which is the leather case, these retaining bands, and then now we have an accessible paper notebook. You can see I started off with an official Traveler's Company notebook in a dot grid, which is generally how I take kind of freehand notes. There are some accessories here, like this adjustment band here that you could play with if you add more or less notebooks here, but there's really not too much to concern yourself there. It's basically you have the notebook, this holds the pieces together, and then when you want to close it, you can close it. This wouldn't really be too much to write home about because it's very simple. What happens is you could really start to accessorize. So here are some replacement bands for the inside, or these are actually called connecting bands because in addition to using the stock bands in here, you could replace them or you could add more. And if you really want to stack this up and put 5 or 6 notebooks in there, you might want some of these auxiliary bands, but you could attach notebooks to notebooks and not put everything through the center, which we could play with in a minute. There are many types of inserts or refills, whatever you want to call them. So we started off with number 26, which is standard size dot grid. Here is number 1. This is the standard size line, 6.4 millimeter, 64 pages, 32 sheets, using standard Midori white paper. Here's another one I like. This is called lightweight paper. This is, you could probably tell from this bottom one, it uses a thinner, lighter paper. What do you actually save? You save a couple grams, but the paper itself is actually cool and fun to write with and really, really good for fountain pens. So it's nice that it's lightweight, but the more important thing is just a fun paper. And then here's number 2. This is a same as the rest, but with a 5x5 grid. This is a nice option. And the colors you'll see on the outside, that will vary slightly. That's more so you could tell them apart. The Travelers Company makes a whole bunch of different accessories. So in addition to the paper, or like refill notebooks, they sell a bunch of sticker packs and things like that. Everything comes with a different elastic band, and they sell pins and stickers and all sorts of other accessories you can use to really customize the notebook. Like say you want to add a pocket to here, they sell a film or a vinyl pocket sticker that you could slap on here or inside the cover, so you could put some pieces of paper in here. As you get additional notebooks, what you could do is you could put them inside your initial notebook. And this gets a little awkward because that's caught on the piece here. So you could put it inside the initial notebook, but again, that gets a little awkward because you have one notebook, then you're going into the other notebook. Really, realistically, what you're gonna do is use the other sheets in here, whether it's this one or you can add, and we'll see what these are. And what you could do is you could add more. And the company's pretty good about instructing you on how to use this notebook in a way to take the best advantage of it. We'll just run through the instructions really quick. So if you have one notebook, you really just put it in through the center and fold it over. That's not a big deal. If you have 2, things start to get more complex. Again, not super complex, but what you're gonna do is, let's just follow the instructions. You'll put them side by side like this, and we will take this one out. So now we have our standard grid and then our dot grid. They're side by side. We're following along. You get half, and you get one of these bands I just purchased, and you put it along the middle. This has a nice set. We'll go with this nice brown color. And now we will connect the 2 notebooks to one another. So you can see that part of the fun of the Traveler's Notebook is the sort of building and customization and sort of accessorizing of your notebook. So this will obviously be a very simple journey through the Traveler's Notebook or walk through the Traveler's Notebook. If you search around, you'll see some people really doing really nice work with this. So now you have 2 and they're connected. You can connect them with the interior band here. So now you have this piece retaining the notebooks, and you have This will close normally. You can see it's starting to get a little wide. You can go up to maybe 4 here, and then I think it gets a little bit unwieldy. I've seen people go past that, but I would say 3 to 4 is the maximum. I usually don't go past 3. So at that point, you can just take the notebook out and replace it. Once this thing starts getting too wide, it gets a little bit annoying to have in a bag because it's so much smaller than a standard laptop or notebook. It creates a pretty good sized lump in your bag. But here we have this, notebook 1. You go through it. Here's the center. Here's the center of the 2 notebooks. And then notebook 2. If you want to add a 3rd notebook, let's see what the directions say. We get the 2 notebooks, we put them like this. And then we will stretch the band like we did, creating the 2, which we did. And now you'll have the centerpiece, and you could put a 3rd in there. Let's go with the lightweight notebook, and we'll put that in the middle. Obviously, you could see based on this system, the 4th one will get more complex, but basically you're just doing the 2, then another 2, and you're replicating that. It doesn't work as well as 3. 3 is a really nice sweet spot. So you do want to find the center of this. Here's that notebook paper. It's very lightweight. I believe it's Tomoe River paper. So it's really lightweight, really thin, but very fountain pen friendly. And we're going to get that, put this through the center, and it's in there really well. And now we have the 3 notebooks. They do start to stick out. That is sort of inevitable. But what happens as the bands stretch out a little bit, it can create a little bit of room, and the system actually works a bit better. It says in here, I think you're supposed to stretch the band well before setting. So you want to pre-stretch it a little bit, but you'll get the idea. The band may be damaged by the friction against the notebook. I haven't really seen that happen, but I guess that could happen. Anyway, give the band a little bit of stretch if you're working with a new one like this. I don't think it'll be a huge difference, but it'll be worth saving some pain later. So there we have a traveler's notebook with 3 notebooks. Again, getting a little fat, but it does wear in and it won't pop up like this over time. This is naturally dyed leather, so it will start to kind of fade and scratch. And if you get some water on it, it might bleed a little bit, so you gotta be careful there. So basically it goes from looking brand new, and then after some initial usage, it'll start looking a lot worse because it'll have a couple spots here and there and a scratch. But then eventually, if you stick with it, it'll be covered in scratches and spots, and then it'll look like it has a nice patina. It won't look like there's one scratch, right? So if it's 1,000 scratches, it looks great. If there's one scratch, it looks terrible. And I think that pretty much covers the Traveler's Notebook basics. I have a couple more notebooks here, some replacement bands. I didn't buy any of the accessories just because I've seen most of them in the past, and I don't know, it's just not how I use my notebook. I don't need to carry pictures with me, have them on my phone, but I know a lot of people like buying the accessories. They do sell a pen holder, which is actually pretty useful. But the important thing is this is what a new Traveler's Notebook is. It breaks in really nicely. The cover basically lasts forever. And then you have a nice functional notebook, which is a really cool alternative to something like a travel notes or something smaller. If you think this is too big, then the passport size is pretty cool. I actually think this is a nicer size because it's functional. The passport size is a little bit small, but for each his own. So yeah, that is a quick introduction to the Traveler's Notebook, and I guess we probably covered why people like it so much. It's because it's cool and functional and customizable. And those people that used to like hook up their Filofaxes back in the day, maybe many of them have moved on to Traveler's Notebooks. I think it's a nicer system with nicer paper, and it's much less fiddly. It uses this rubber band system, which might seem bad as you're purchasing it, and you're saying, why am I spending 50 bucks on some rubber bands and some leather? But keep in mind, it's a nice piece of leather, and the paper is actually pretty reasonably priced. These things sell for like maybe $5-6 each. So you're getting a good deal on the paper. It's like one of those companies that sells the razor for free and sells the inserts for a lot. This one sells the razor for a lot and the inserts for cheap. So that's the Traveler's Notebook. Let me know in the comments below if you use one and how you like it. Thanks for watching.